Sections 1.4 and 1.5 I'm going to kind of teach together. They all deal with using the slope of a line or the slope of a linear equation. So the first thing you need to know is your formula for the slope of a line. We always use m to represent slope. We say slope equals, or m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. That's our general slope formula. Okay, the slope is the steepness of a line. It tells you whether or not that line is going to be rising to the right, falling to the right, also whether it's horizontal or vertical. Okay, so you will have to use the slope formula. Another way that you can use the slope is what we call the point slope form of a line. This formula is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. We use this equation a lot of times if you're asked to find an equation of a line. This is my slope. The x1 and the y1 are actually a point that would be on that line. This y and this x are actually part of the equation and they stay in the equation. So this is called the point slope form of a line. I can take an equation that's in this form and solve it for y, and that puts it in what's called slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Okay, again, the m is my slope, the b is your y-intercept. So that's why this is called the slope-intercept form of a line. So these three formulas you need to be familiar with. Let's look at the examples. Find the slope of a line that goes through the given points. So I just have 2 points. If that's all I'm given and asked to find the slope, then I'm going to use the slope formula, which really just means you subtract your y's and then subtract your x's in the same order. So if this negative 3 is my y sub 2, it would be negative 3 minus a negative 5, which would be plus 5, over its same x value has to go first. So 1 would be my x sub 2, minus a negative 3 would make that plus 3. And then you simplify, so I would get 2/4, and then that reduces to 1/2. So the slope of that line would be 1/2. Okay, for the next problems, you're actually going to be writing the equation of a line. So number 2 says, use the given conditions to write an equation for a line in point slope form. Okay, be very careful on your homework. They will tell you what form they want the equation to be in. But if you're writing an equation, then you're always going to be using the point slope form of a line. That's going to be your starting point. So I need to know a slope, which here is given to be negative 2, and I need to know a point, x1, y1, to plug into the formula, which will be the point that's given here. So if I plug in y minus my y1 value is 2 equals negative 2, which is my slope, times x minus 7, which is my x sub 1. Okay, if I leave this alone and leave it in this form, this is the point slope form. And so there's actually a few problems where they just want you to stop right here. Just plug in the information. If they want you to write it in slope-intercept form, we would need to go a step further. Let me show you that over here. If I take the equation and I distribute the negative 2, y minus 2 equals negative 2x plus 14, and then get y by itself, so that means I would have to add 2. If I add 2, that would give me 16. This is the same equation, the same line, just in a different form. This is what's called the slope-intercept form. So just be careful. They may ask for it, either one of these two different ways. Now on number 3, it says, same direction, you're writing an equation, but it's passing through the points 4, 2, and 3, 7. Okay, so they didn't just give you the slope. So what you would have to do first is find out what the slope of this line is. So first I'm going to use my slope formula. My y sub 2 would be 7 minus 2, which is my other y value. Keep the x's in the same order. So 3 minus 4 would be 5 over negative 1, or we would say just a slope of negative 5. Then we're ready to write the equation. So I use the point slope form of the line. We have 2 points that are given. You just choose one. It does not matter which one. Okay, they will both be correct. I usually just stick with using the first one. So that means I would have y minus 2 equals negative 5 for my slope, x minus 4. Okay, you have to use just 1 point. This is as far as you have to go if they just want the equation to be in point slope form, which they do on this problem.